Let's go to Florida.
MRAs should be, if you shut the fuck up and let me read my list, there's the fucking proof.
I obviously can't like.
So, number one, shut the fuck up for a second. Feminists do not want you to lose custody of your children. The assumption that women are naturally better caregivers is part of patriarchy. Feminists do not like commercials in which bumbling dads mess up the laundry and competent wives have to bustle in and fix it. The assumption that women... We're working on it and you guys are trying to dismantle it. But if you fucking listen...
I don't believe they do that.
Then why are you part of the organization? Saying that we're trying to take away their rights? How are we trying to take away their rights?
Why?
Can you shut the fuck up for a second too?
Well,
so I can read my fucking list so you guys can actually answer those questions.
Does someone have the yellow flyer with that actual quote so we can both have it in front of us?
On a website or are
Great.
This is a list of the things that we're working towards. Now, if you would shut the fuck up for the 50th billionth time,
We agree on that.
these are things that we're agreeing on, and these are things that you've actually all got skewed fucking views on. You think that feminists are trying to take away your fucking rights, but as a matter of fact, what we're trying to do is we're actually trying to work on the same things that you're working on, but except the fact that you're so you're just too busy hating women. You can't fucking see that we're trying to actually work on those same situations.
I can't imagine context other than we actually not.
Okay, I think.
Or are you conflating feminism, which is an ideology, with women?
So is MRA, but whatever, that's fine. Okay,
So you know you're a hate group against feminists. You're still a hate
An
group.
ideology. Yes. I also hate a lot of other isms.
So you admit those.
Racism, sexism.
on this.
Bullshit. You hate sexism, but you're an MRA. Okay, no, point taken. We win.
Obviously haven't read our
Sorry.
literature.
Oh,
I've read it.
somebody doesn't want to hear what we're actually here for, so you just want to
You're not actually working on anything. You're just creating hatred towards feminists.
Yeah.
You don't actually work on anything.
You're actually
You're not creating any change in the fucking world.
Just actually shut the fuck
Your
up.
website, your fucking website's a hate website against feminists. You're not actually creating any change. You're not working towards anything. You're just talking about how much you hate us for no reason.
Feminists do not want you to have to make alimony payments. Alimony is set up to combat the fact that women have been historically expected to prioritize domestic duties over professional goals, thus minimizing their earning potential as their traditional marriages end. The assumption... I'm reading fucking base.
I'm reading
I'm trying to fucking... I'm letting everybody else hear it, okay? It's not just for you, Mr. Entitled. The assumption that wives should make babies instead of money is part of patriarchy. That's right. Feminists...
Something that you actually heard
You
of.
really for dummies. The author, people, everybody's here. You're really
To borrow a phrase you just used, the proof is in the pudding.
So, and this is the message that we have gotten from MRAs. So if that's the message that you actually have gotten from feminists, that we expect you to pay alimony, or that we expect you to lose custody of your children, then
Dude,
listen
it's so much
to us
easier to play
and
with mouse and
understand what
keyboard.
we're actually about, because it's not what those things are.
Here's this, right? All I did was go into the office of my apartment development, right? And they refused to give me the form. I'll talk about that in a minute. This guy
Wow, this
walked
is
into the
fucking
office when I was there,
hilarious.
and now here he is
Just
parked
listen
out
to
here,
it.
right?
What the?
Stop stalking me, right? Don't ever stalk me again.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
About what?
Don't ever stalk me again.
Who's talking to you about
You. Laugh some more. Do it.
what? You're crazy.
Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Say to the camera that you're not stalking me.
I am not stalking you. I don't even know who you are.
Is that right? You want to give your name?
I do not need to. You want to give me yours? You want to give me yours? Yeah, I didn't think so. I have no idea who you are, lady. So, you know, you're dreaming. You think I'm stalking you.
Why'd you put
Good
on
luck
a
with
bot? That doesn't count as getting a new.
Keep talking, why don't you?
Can I put legit on at least?
No. You see when it just pops right to their head.
The feminist who is out to ruin your life.
I am the feminist who is ruining your perfectly respectful marriage by suggesting Audre Lorde to the book club that your wife attends. And yes, I am the one who convinced her to get that shorter haircut that you pretend to like, but don't really.
What the hell was that?
I am the feminist who is pushing your daughter
was it aiming at
down
their head before?
slippery slope of sluthood by giving her a high five when she says she keeps her own supply of condoms. And incidentally, I tried to turn her bisexual-gay by recommending some dental dams.
The fuck is this bitch
I am
talking
that
about?
hysterical feminist who demands trigger warnings on scenes of rape and violent sexual conduct. Yes, I am that militant, man-hating ball-buster who insists on opening the door for you just because I made physical contact with it first. I am that ice queen cunt who responds to your street-side compliments with her most frigid, I didn't need your comment. I am out to infringe upon your rights and freedoms and extra room on the subway bestowed upon you for having a penis.
Dude, where's that nuke?
I am absolutely a threat to your way of life.
I encourage people to bring their ballots. I am a member of RIPxMODS. So we will put our ballots into the box. We will put our energy into the ballots, and then we will release the energy into the universe so that our intentions can be manifested.
Oh, what a cheater.
Welcome West.
He's so good.
Welcome water. Welcome the flow of oceans and the flow of emotion. Welcome the flow towards a more progressive left in our country. Welcome West. Welcome North. Welcome Earth and groundedness. Welcome roots that grow deep. Welcome all of the animals that live in all of the ecosystems on Earth. Welcome grassroots of the political revolution that grow deep. Welcome North. Welcome all of the people who want to make a change in this world for the positive, to a more generous, and gentle, and loving, and positive future.
Just trying to get through.
Oh, another fuck you.
Does that happen to
Says
you
I'm
now?
white. You don't even know anything about me. You literally just see, you claim I'm white and that you assume all these things about me. That's racist. Do you realize you're a racist?
It's not possible.
How is it not possible?
I can't be racist against white people.
Well,
Racism is literally the suppression of a minority
Are you
group.
judging me?
What a dumb bitch.
Because I'm white.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't like white males.
Why? So that's not racist? That's the definition of racist. This is hilarious. Thank you so much for this YouTube
You're a
duel.
misogynist pig.
How so?
Because you're a white male.
You prefer to live in the Soviet Union? Hell yeah. Stalin would be a hell of a lot better than Trump. Stalin would be better than Trump? Yes, he would. Do you know that Stalin killed 50 million people? Did you know that the population increased 1.6% under Stalin? Russia's accepting visa applications right now. Would you like to go? I'd be thrilled.
We will introduce for the first time ever anywhere the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
Who's got the power? We got the power! What's got the power? People power! Who's got the power?
Hey! This is library.
She has called me names and insulted me just for sitting down the seat saying that I came here to celebrate today.
Is there going to be a problem? There will be. I would like for him to change seats with someone. No, I'm going to get somebody. Well, you don't have that right. So I will get somebody with a car.
Knocking out grandma.
Pretend you have the moral high ground, but you put that man's on your butt. That man doesn't believe in climate change. Do you believe in gravity? Did you know gravity is just a theory? He is in my space.
She's causing hostilities.
My husband lost his job. Half the
both like 70 years old.
What if we trade seats and she quiets down? How would that be? I'm asking at this point.
Oh my God, this lady's gonna get thrown off the flight.
Man, we're waiting on you.
I'm American. You're a citizen.
USA! USA!
I mean, I get a whole row to myself.
You earned it.
What the hell?
You're buying drinks.
I'm scared because all these fucking brown folks out here are fucking scared. Every fucking day, not just because Trump won. You're out here because Trump won. We've been out here before. So shut the fuck up and be quiet for once. And just echo what we say. We don't need you up there. We see you everywhere. You already got a white man in the White House. Shut up for once. And just be quiet and echo what people say. That's it.
We're all brown.
No, we are not. You are not brown. No, you're not. You don't live my fucking
Nobody is
struggle.
white in God's
No,
eyes.
you're not. Fuck God. Fuck your God. Fuck your God. Fuck your God. Where is your fucking God? Where? Where is he? When people are getting killed in the fucking street. Shut the fuck up preaching that Jesus shit out here. To all these fucking black folk. We don't need no white savior. Shut the fuck up. I don't want no more. I'm good. Thank you though.
Dude, I need to
Thank
go to
you
one
though.
of
We
these
don't need
things.
your white savior. We don't need your white savior.
fucking
We
laughing.
got our fucking selves. We don't need you. We don't need you.
I need you.
I don't care. I don't fucking want you. I want you to be the fuck quiet and sit the fuck back.
You're stunned.
And echo what I say. You don't fucking need me. I need your allyship. You have fucking privilege.
Going forward, Ellen.
You
You're
need to
dead.
dismantle this system. I don't care about your white savior complex. I don't care about you telling me that you're brown in God's eyes. No, the fuck you're not. I don't deal with God on a daily basis. I deal with the fucking police on a daily basis who see that white fucking skin that you have, who don't oppress you the way they oppress me. So dismantle that
This is
shit. Shut the
fucking
fuck
crazy.
up. Dismantle the fucking
If a cop came by
dismantle
me,
white
I'd be like,
supremacy.
okay.
And then you can get up there and talk some shit. But you don't do that shit. You don't come out here and tell people
I don't
we're all
talk
brown
shit
in
to a
God's eyes.
cop.
No, the fuck we're not.
Sorry.
No, the fuck we aren't.
That's
Your
why we're not
voice
dying.
is louder than mine because you have a platform because you're white. That's it. There's no debating that. Shut up.
The fucking RPG takes so
Why are
long
you
to
debating
reload.
this shit?
That's
My
annoying.
oppression is not a debate. People are out here scared. You don't know what that shit is like. Shut up. Shut up. Period. Shut up. Period. Always thinking we need your fucking help. I don't need you, bro. I don't need you, bro. I don't want you here. I don't need you. I'm not your sister. I'm not your sister. We don't struggle the same way. I'm not your sister. Yeah, I am angry. Have you ever? Yeah. Oppression does that to people. Oppression does that to social. That sounds like a personal problem. That oppression makes people violent. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Do you see this shit out here? I'll claim rape if he touches me. Do you see that shit? These are the fucking men that we have out here. These are the men that we have out here.
Can I see your side? I like it. Can I see the other side too? White man against Trump. That's awesome.
By the ball! Run patriarchy 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 by the ball! ¡Mujeres patriarcales por los huevos! ¡Mujeres patriarcales por los
Fuera de aquí. Fuera de aquí.
¡Mujeres patriarcales por los huevos!
Fuera de aquí.
Patriarchy, we got back! We got back!
Rosie O'Donnell tweeted, I fully support imposing martial law, delaying the inauguration until Trump is cleared of all charges. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Do you think that we should, or Obama should impose martial law and halt Trump's inauguration?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why do you think so?
I just think that
a lot of people have like conflicting views right now, and I think it needs to be cleared out until everybody can kind of, I mean, give him any support that they're willing to give him at this point. I think
martial
that
law would be a good way to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
We are here and we will dance.
I can't take this hate anymore. I got my head and my heart in the class war. You don't speak for me. I'm just marching. Fully support imposing martial law, delaying the inauguration until Trump is cleared of all charges. Do you agree with Rosie?
I agree with Rosie. I agree.
You do? Mm-hmm. Do you know what martial law is?
You're just making something up, but all I know is I agree with anything to not have Trump be our president.
Listen, I know you have this need to mansplain everything.
I'm waiting for you to explain one thing. One thing. I just want one explanation of how Trump had no lawsuits, no affiliation with the KKK, just a bunch of hearsay. That's all you have. Still haven't heard one reason how Trump is racist.
His federal lawsuits when in housing.
What's that?
His federal lawsuits in housing.
People to explain everything to you.
Because why don't you know it yourself?
Can you not say it for you because you're not about love?
The funny thing, you still haven't given one reason why you don't like Trump. You haven't said any policy.
How old are you? Yeah,
What difference does that make? How old are you?
Like, why are you hassling two young girls? Like, what's your fucking problem?
Hold on.
He supports the KKK.
Wrong.
He sexually assaulted
Wrong.
women. Do you know how
Name
sexual
one
assault is
lawsuit.
treated in court? Rapists get away every
You have no
fucking
lawsuits.
day.
All right, so you have no lawsuits. Can you name one instance where he's associated with the KKK?
Well, the fact that the David Duke like promoted him.
He's disavowed David Duke 500 times.
Yeah, but the fact that David Duke supports him in the first place, that's a really big fucking
So
deal,
Donald
buddy.
Trump is supposed to be responsible for everyone in America all the time.
I just want peace and conversation.
Boy, I
Peace
can
and
get
conversation.
down. Peace and conversation. None of this bullshit. The fuck is she doing? Oh, people are gonna get fucked up on this one. I'm gonna start across. This is the
I'm waiting for you to explain one thing. One thing. I just want one explanation about Trump is that no lawsuit, no affiliation with KKK.
Chuck's nuts. Oh, she is nuts. I know. Smash her. Oh, dude, she's a babe too. Who the fuck was I hitting? Do I like... Unless... 7-0. No, I fucking... God. AC 130. Look at the score. 26-4. Oh my god, they put me on the worst fucking side for this shit.
Let's see.
There's 2 people on the other team.
Donc si je vais sauter aujourd'hui, c'est pour prouver à tous les hommes qui n'ont pas choisi de filles, de femmes pour ce défi, que les femmes aussi ont assez de courage pour sauter dans l'eau.
Is your company...
What does this say? This...
Is your company looking to maximize their output while cutting back on costs? Why outsource all your production to faraway countries like India, China, and Narnia when we have the cheapest and best workforce right here in the good old US of A? Women. That's right. With pink sourcing, women are a bargain at the workplace since you only have to pay them 77 cents on the dollar. Right, Kathy?
Wait, what? I make 60 cents. Who are you, Bill Gates?
¿De qué? I make 55 cents. Who is she? Yeezy? No, come on. Those are men. Even more importantly, you don't have to pay women overtime. They'll never ask for a raise, and they don't complain about their working conditions. Right, Kathy? Also, you don't have to pay for women's birth control. And if they do get knocked up, when they leave to have the baby, you get off scot-free. But don't worry, guys. Your boner pills are still covered.
Your boner pills?
And ladies, who cares if you make $30,000 less than men at your job when they have free tampons in the bathroom? Best of all, you can promote literally anyone else besides them, especially if they're less qualified.
That doesn't make sense.
After all, women don't even really want to be working anyway. They'd rather be home, taking care of the family, while their husband gets to make life choices and follow his dreams and play fantasy football.
But I just want to know, I mean, have you called French Foreign Minister, for instance?
No, but we're in the process of arranging for you to go to France and to Germany.
Do you know who he is?
Don't start pub quizzing me. Don't start pub quizzing me.
He's the French Foreign Minister. Do you know his name?
No, and I'm not going to start answering your questions on this.
Well, it was just we had that one you were Shadow Defence Secretary on
DEFCON. Do you know what really upsets me about your attitude to me is that you do this with me. I don't remember you doing it with anybody else. You know. Have you done it to David Davis? Have you asked these questions to Sky journalists? Have you got Boris Johnson on this basis? How about Liam Fox?
I've had discussions with David Davis. I've had many discussions with Liam Fox.
I mean, honestly,
but
really.
What's a call from Boris Johnson to the South Korean president?
Do
it. Guess you don't know.
And the important point, which is about our security and world security, is that how we are going to approach North Korea into the future.
All right, but how would we
And if you want me to go with you to a pub tonight, and we can do a pub quiz tonight, let's do it. You know, honestly.
I'm not the Shadow Foreign Secretary. You know, I mean, we're talking about perhaps a global conflict here, and one nation
and the important thing is
one nation threatening nuclear strikes on the other.
Can't do anything with
I thought you might have been rather.
And I can tell you that I'm extremely interested in this, and I will talk about. I will. I'm not getting drawn by you into this nonsense. I am quite prepared to talk politics with you and to talk about the principles and the threats to the country.
Just for future reference, part
44.
And whether that's racism, whether that's anti-Semitism or sexism,
Oh my God.
I think that we absolutely must call it.
But it's interesting you're saying there is more to be done within the nation.
There is always more to be done. There is always more to be done, and do you know what? There's certainly a lot more to be done by the Tories, and I certainly think that sometimes when it comes to sexism, some Sky presenters need to look at themselves too. I really do. It really upsets me that every time I come on here, you do another pub quiz with me, because you do not do it with anybody else, and I do think that it's
Let me address it, Emily. It's not, because you are the shadow foreign secretary.
Yeah, right.
And this was about the French foreign minister, Jean-Marc Ayrault, who Boris Johnson has met now.
Let's take this offline, because I've got a lot to say to you, and I don't think a lot of it ought to be broadcast.
Emily Thornton, for the time being, thank you very much indeed. More than keen to have that discussion on air if you like. I mean, it's a question way back when I can't even remember when Mr. Johnson, Alan Johnson, was Shadow Chancellor. We had discussions about the rate of national insurance, which he didn't know, and he should have known, I would have suspected, as Shadow Chancellor. It's Alan Johnson. I'll just leave it there with you. Emily Thornton, thank you very much.
Last word, of course.
And you're watching Monahan on Sky News.
Isn't it real out? It's a public place.
Public place.
Make America great again. He's completely freaking out. You're allowed to film whatever.
You're not allowed to share.
I'm saying make America great. What is hate language about? You're on, I want to hear.
Make America great again means make America all for white people, no immigrants, no people of different sexual orientation.
His wife is an immigrant. His wife is an immigrant.
That doesn't mean anything.
How would you know? You just said no immigrants.
It doesn't mean anything. I could have a brother who's gay and I could not be supportive of gay people. It doesn't mean anything. Your values.
So why is he? You just say he doesn't like immigrants. His wife's an immigrant. It's illegal immigrants that he doesn't want.
You're not even connecting. You're
saying I asked him, does he not like immigrants? You're like, he doesn't like immigrants.
Just because he's married to an immigrant doesn't mean that his policies and what he stands for is promoting people of different colors being in our
It's illegal immigrants.
Freaking dude, like, we're friends and I level with you, but like, you gotta take the hat off, or I'm gonna write the president of the university and he's gonna come and talk to you because I already talked to him about this. It's not allowed, it's hate language on campus. You can do it with me or you can do it with David Doherty. I waited to talk to you in person and I've already talked to him about this. You can laugh because it's so gonna happen, and I can't wait for him to come.
He's wearing a hat that he wants to wear. What is wrong with the hat?
I'm not allowed to wear a shirt. I'm not allowed to wear a shirt.
Yo, let's go. This is ridiculous.
You're all. This is just now, and you can.
Make America great again. It's a hat. He's wearing a hat. Trump doesn't hate immigrants.
It's so much more.
How is it so much more? You don't know anything about Trump. You don't know anything. You don't know one little thing. Okay, please. Keep wearing the hat, man. Keep wearing the hat. That is insane. This is all on camera. Yo, keep wearing that hat. If I had my Trump stuff, this girl is so
supporting the hat. Dude,
so
you
if you want me to come talk to David,
you gotta take
make
it off.
America. Why does he have to take it off?
Do me a favor, please. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Just please stop. Stop. Yo, give him the hat back.
This guy just ripped off his hat. Fucking knock his ass out.
Right while women exist online while women is dangerous. There is an online epidemic of violence against women. How did it come to this? To generations of terrified men hiding behind screens, muttering violent utterings, whore, slut, cunt, feminazi. It's because for us to choose to be heard instead of just seen is still revolutionary.
Oh, dude, feminists just.
Every
this is straight
time I receive a
cancer.
wave of online violence and abuse,
Do you watch this shit all
I find
the
it
time?
is the same thing.
hilarious.
It is always from men. It is about the fact that I am speaking, that I dare to be speaking while living in this body, while this body is living in this world.
You're so stupid.
The first time I received a death threat for my poetry, I was proud.
Dude, up top.
I belly laughed with the joy of it. I wore it as a badge of honor. I felt it read, I am a dangerous woman.
Go.
I threaten patriarchy. I make the status quo shake to its core. I am a dangerous woman. Hear me roar.
Sometime.
In a big
Can you only
bad
get one
world
up?
that no longer belongs to
Make it
only
so you get
them,
one up.
but to all of us. Whore, slut, cunt, feminazi. These are words used to pin us down, to keep us quiet. But we
Because you're an idiot.
are dangerous.
That's why you need to
when
stay
we
quiet,
choose to
because you're
speak.
fucking stupid.
To choose to speak is to realize that you
You're
are
so dumb.
explosions. In the center
Like,
of
shit
the
I've ever
status
done in my
quo, they are only looking for ways to disarm you. They are only looking for ways to silence you, to make you safe for them, to make you compliant. and they will not succeed. Because we are dangerous women, because to speak is to be a dangerous woman, and we will never shut up.
Call it in.
I only get 35 kills.
And the second sort of safe space we're talking about is a actual physical safe location for different identity groups. So for example, a student who is from the LGBT community will have a safe space on campus, which is kind of like a room that everybody else who is from that same community can come and get together, can organize. And right now on campus, we actually have 6 of those safe spaces. It's the RSU Equity Service Centers, and those are free from anybody who does not identify with that community to not enter that and let that be kind of like one room on campus. So it is basically a room on campus. That's what it is. It's like a room probably smaller than this, where they can talk about any sort of issues that that community is facing. One group who is marginalized, who is oppressed, to ask for one room on campus just to organize, just to have that as kind of a safe space away from any sort of oppression or trigger, I don't think that would be too much to ask for.
We're not running a daycare center here, okay? This is a university where you go to see differing viewpoints, and to be scrubbing the campus clean of differing viewpoints, of dissenting, political discourse, things like that, is really the antithesis of what a university is supposed to be. Students, I've had a vast majority of students who are afraid, some of them are here, who are afraid themselves to speak up and talk about certain things because of the intimidation, the bullying. It's really a bully tactic. It's not about being nice, it's about control. This is what this whole movement is about. And I really think that it's quite regressive. They say it's progressive, and Rabbi, you said it's a solution. Well, I actually think it's a symptom of a larger problem of extreme political correctness. It's not a solution at all. When you're segregating these people off, you're basically, this ideology doesn't want people as individuals, they want them as the identity. Black, white, brown, straight, gay, whatever. They want to put you in that bucket. They want to teach you what to think. They don't want to teach you how to think. It goes back to the days of Socrates. We used to teach people how to think critically. Now we're teaching them what to think.
You can't expect somebody to have a thick skin because that's how society works. Right? You can't expect that. There are people who emotionally can't, physically can't, they just can't do it. And to expect them because that's how society works, you should not be blaming that person for not being able to do that. Maybe it's another look on society.
So you're saying they're immature. That's what you're saying. They're too immature, is what you're saying.
You cannot equate that to immaturity.
The difference with something like an educational meeting and one of these meetings is that we're actually teaching people, like I said, putting them into buckets, teaching them to be victims. We're opening the door for victimhood. And when you teach that, it actually becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. People...
But what happens when they actually are victims and they are actually working towards creating a different environment where they themselves don't have to be the victim anymore?
That's a good thing. And that that should be something we should be emphasizing. See, the people on the left, they're obsessed with equal outcome when they should be equal outcome of the collective. Their herd mentality. They should be focused on equal opportunity of the individual. When you claim to be the VP equity, but when you're kicking out,
she is the VP equity.
You're claiming to be equal. When you're kicking out white students because of the color of their skin at a racialized students collective, having that policy on the books, that's not very good.
Themselves are like when white students themselves are not racialized.
How do you know that? You're racializing me right now by saying I can't go to these spaces.
So see, that's another thing. There's a lot of learning and unlearning that I see that you need to do.
They're 96s. That's dumb as shit.
There's a lot of learning and unlearning that I see that you need to do.
You need to do the learning.
No.
Well,
So a lot of the equity service centers actually hold a lot of events where any student on campus can come and learn about why these equity service centers exist and why these students have issues and why these issues are valid.
Okay.
Right? And so what I do is I ask anybody who kind of questions why these centers exist to please come out to these events and actually try and learn with an open mind. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to what you say.
Well, no, I do totally understand what you're saying, but I'm actually saying that it's working against the goal of what you're trying to achieve. What I'm saying is that, it's the herd mentality, right? Like, everybody who's in one group, they put them in the bucket of whatever segment to say it's straight or white. You put them in the bucket, you teach them, now they're in this bucket, now they're part of this collective, and now the collective is taught what to think and what to get offended by. And you see people all over campus that are of these racialized or are of different demographics, but they don't need the safe space because they're smarter than that. You have the two white kids in the event, the racialized students collective getting kicked out. See, I don't find that acceptable. And as a VP equity, you should be totally outraged by that.
Not really. If I am talking in a classroom, there's going to be white people, black people, everybody around, and they can listen, right? if I want to talk specific issues that racialize students face, I do not think that white people need to be in that space. Because racialization is people who are other than white. That's what being racialized is.
What are you saying you want to see happen to these safe
I
spaces in
want,
the future?
it can't be done overnight. These people have become dependent on these safe spaces. So we should have a place, I believe that they would be better called student groups than safe spaces. You know, a lot of people think safe spaces are ridiculous.
That's what I want to know.
Sorry?
Who are the people that have these problems?
Have what problems?
Right, problems with safe spaces. It's people who do not access safe spaces. That's the thing, it's people who do not need safe spaces.
Well, it's an issue of free speech in society.
But see, that's the thing. We have free speech, but there's a limit to that free speech. If your free speech is impeding on somebody's right to exist, impeding on somebody's right to basically
There's no limits to
say
free speech
whatever
in
they
a free country. This is something that is a fundamental
If you
disagreement.
say something discriminatory against me as being a woman, being a Muslim woman as well, you do not have that right to
I
free
have the
speech.
right to
That's
do it.
being-
Within the law,
you-
I do have that right. So you need to read the Constitution.
Oh.
I don't agree with harassment, but I agree with free speech. And people need to realize, I don't agree with hate speech, but hate speech is free speech to an extent. If you're harassing or threatening someone, I don't agree with that. I'm not a mean person. You say the idea is I don't care about these people because I'm denouncing safe spaces. It's the opposite. I care about these people, and I think that the safe spaces are working against the end goal. When you're segregating yourselves off into ever shrinking subsets of the population, you're actually being regressive. You're not being progressive at all.
The thing I want to end off with is that you're basically speaking on behalf of people who need safe spaces and telling them what is good for them.
They're fucking retards. Yeah, dude, I lost this raid. Why would you do that? I didn't use any of your balloons.
Watch out for those macroaggressions.
As a feminist, I just want to tear down every poster, destroy and burn every toy, and skip past every trailer that is before my YouTube videos. Mine, Pink.
He loves Pink.
Yeah, man, you just messed
But
everything
his
up.
favourite dress is the black one with pink flamingos on it.
You could be forgiven for mistaking this toddler for a little girl, but 2-year-old Max Price is actually a boy. Max's parents are raising him gender neutral.
So what happens when you say alleged rape and rape actually does happen? What are we doing when we treat women like that? I don't understand.
You can't put someone in prison if you haven't proven them guilty of something.
So then how do we prove everyone guilty of stuff? There are convictions, there are charges. When you say alleged rape, you're not believing the victim of said rape. You know, we put alleged as a word.
So are you saying that we should just believe women right away when they say they've been raped?
We have to believe any rape victim.
Because you're a fucking white man who gets to do whatever he wants to in this space, right?
Okay.
So I'm saying no, you do not have permission to walk around videotaping women of color and acting like you can do that and the rest of us can't. Aren't you quite aware by holding that video camera on me that you are surrounded by your privilege, right? Take your privilege somewhere else, please. All right? Because your privilege is not welcome here. So unless you are here to dismantle your privilege, please find somewhere else to go.
There's a lot of white people in the crowd. And that wasn't a joke. Well, I don't want to stand up here and be angry because this isn't for me. This
What
isn't
the
for
hell?
you.
I don't
This
have-
is for the people that
I
we
don't have
lost.
anybody to clean up.
And the people we may lose tomorrow, and the people we lost yesterday.
Dude, it's gonna take fucking
But
forever.
I thought I'd take the moment to just like list out some facts that many of you probably don't know, because you're white.
BTQ fucking
I'm
H.
tired of the black and white dichotomy that happens every time we talk about race
black
or
and white
anything
dichotomy?
that goes on in our country. But we never take the time to consider the shades in between, like mine. And as much as
Alright,
it
dude.
is
Looks like a
awesome
really good
that
raid.
there's so many people here today, but it's like, who are you really here for? So,
American student feminist human against Trump.
I am.
What's your biggest problem with him?
Mostly everything. It's pretty hard to pinpoint it, but
I've noticed that's an issue with these people. Can you just give me one little maybe sentence he said that you disagree with, or one policy he's going to enact? So far your biggest beefs are that he described his daughter as attractive, and that his penis came up in a debate that you haven't seen.
not my biggest beefs, no.
Well, that's all we got. You got a big one?
Yeah, he's racist, he's sexist. I haven't heard really any firm policy.
Well, we just keep hearing these terms, racist. What's a racist thing he said?
That he insinuating that Mexico is sending their rapists?
They are. 80% of the young girls across the border get raped. I thought you feminists hate rape.
I do.
So do you think 80% is a pretty bad stat for women getting raped? 80% of the women crossing the border get raped.
By Americans?
No, by illegals.
Okay. Thanks.
Don't thank me. I didn't rape anybody.
I didn't say you did, but you're coming and you're spinning everything that
I'm just trying to tell you basic information.
80%.
80% of young women who cross the border get raped.
By illegals?
Yes, by coyotes and illegals. Why wouldn't you have
coyotes? Goodbye.
I don't walk down the street in the dark. It's not my city, my block, my park. I don't want to be another BuzzFeed story. What a pity, too pretty. And the street's too gritty. If she didn't want a titty, then she shouldn't have grown them. Spreading through the streets, you think that she'd own them. Talking so sweet, you think that she'd known them. But shit, that's just what happens when you go it alone. And fuck the nice guys with their eyes on the prize, thinking we don't fucking see through their sheepskin disguise. Saying bitches ain't never done nothing for me. But what's a patriarchy fucking dumb physique?
I'm just giving you...
I love the mansplaining. I'm enjoying it.
You're loving what?
The mansplaining that's going on.
Well,
just talking me through how by not answering the question, by repeating processes which are not related to the question that I've asked.
What's mansplaining, Senator?
Well, it's the slightly patronising and condescending way that you're responding to my questions.
Well, I would suggest, Senator, that if you're putting the word man in front of some description of what I'm doing, you're doing that which I'm sure you're very much against, is making a sexist implication about how I'm conducting my role as a man.
Well, then the easiest way to do it...
Is that what you're saying, Senator?
Well, what I'm saying is that the way you've been responding to me has been patronising and condescending, and I have responded to that. So the easiest way to deal with this is not to have that way in responding to the questions I've asked.
Imagine the reaction, Senator, if I said you were woman-splaining. You're saying that I'm mansplaining.
Well, it is a term that's used.
Is it by whom?
Well, it is a term that's used.
By rude senators. By senators who are seeking to make gender an issue. Stop being a hypocrite. Conduct yourself appropriately for this place.
I'm sorry you're so offended by the use of the word. It is a word that's used. I'm surprised that you're so shocked by the use of the word.
No, I'm just calling hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. Thy name is Labor. Thy name is Senator Gallagher.
It's a frightening and disgusting trend in the world of online gaming. Hackers rewriting code to simulate sexual assault. Shauna Hunt is live with the disturbing reality of virtual rape. Shauna.
Well, Roger, in the world of gaming, modifying characters is actually a common thing, but these cases are extreme.
Oh, they are?
And these hackers, they're taking control of games being played online, and they're staging these violent attacks. And the scenes are so disturbing, we had to blur the images. The graphics are so good, this attack is eerily realistic, but this is virtual rape. Hackers rewriting codes and hijacking online video games like Zombie Apocalypse and Grand Theft Auto. The vile scenes are then posted to YouTube.
That's deplorable and should not be allowed anywhere. Like, they should be banned off the servers immediately.
And Sam Meggs, an avid gamer and blogger, tells me in some cases these hackers, also known as modders for modifying the game, will talk to victims on their headsets during the attacks.
When you can hear the person on the other end who's saying these things directly to you, and they're saying them directly to you. That's a whole other level of harassment, really.
We all know many video games are known for their violence. In Grand Theft Auto, for instance, players carry knives and guns and they get away with looting and murder. But the sexual brutality now popping up online has the attention of Toronto police.
There's no sway.
It is certainly something that we would be, interested in hearing about if people have experienced
Toronto police.
Online, they can take your character, lock them in place, have made their character pantsless, and then can simulate sexual assault with your character, and you are helpless to stop it.
It's funny.
Could come along with this.
We do investigate cases where people are being bullied online or being extorted online. So those things the police will absolutely investigate. When it comes to something like this, we could investigate it. It gets very difficult.
Police say in these virtual rapes, harassment would be hard to prove. And tracking down the invisible hacker could be next to impossible.
It depends on where the person is that's actually doing it, because they could be anywhere in the world.
Sam May stopped playing online over a year ago because of what she calls a misogynistic mentality.
It's a visual representation of all that terrible verbal stuff that you get as a woman online.
Pretty much any game that you can play online can also be hacked and modified, so we're taking a look at some of the ways that parents can keep their kids from being targeted in their virtual world.
If you are in this religion, you probably do have values that are at odds. This is what liberals don't want to recognize. You may be from a country, as there are many, many Muslim countries that either have Sharia law or want Sharia law. Those values are not our values.
I actually strongly disagree with that, Bill. I think that it is incredibly important, particularly now after the Paris attacks, particularly now with ISIL raging around the world, to stand up for real diversity and to say our diversity is our strength.
So keeping women as second-class citizens is just diversity?
I'm not saying that.
But you are saying
no, I'm
that's
not.
what it comes down to.
No, I'm not. What I'm saying is we in Canada are not going to say Muslims are worse than Christians or are worse than Jews or are worse than atheists.
The ideas are worse.
No, and their culture is not worse. And also appreciate that ISIL does not represent Muslims, and it's now more important than ever to say that and to stand up for diversity. I mean, it is very, very wrong to demonize a religion.
I'm not demonizing. I'm just reporting.
Sick of these idiots.
Oh shit! I got a mod. Full on. Full auto. This isn't fair. I think it's one shot too. Oh shit. Come on. What the heck? I can't move now.